In this section we're going to cover Fmea, or Failure Mode and Effects Analysis. Examples of the application of this are in design, which would be a D Fmea, in discrete manufacturing, DMFmea, continuous manufacturing, same Fmea, process Fmea, which isn't covered here, would be PFmea, or administrative. The learning objectives from this would be so that you can understand the concepts of the failure mode and effects analysis and its applicability to the evaluation of all processes. Also to emphasise the importance of prioritising process improvement opportunities. So definition and purpose. So an Fmea is a structured approach to identifying the ways in which a product or process can fail, estimating the risk of specific causes with regard to these failures, prioritising the actions that should be taken to reduce the chance of failure, evaluating the design validation plan of the product or the current control plan of the process for preventing these failures from occurring. The purpose of this will be to identify potential failure modes and rate the severity of their effects, to rank the order of potential deficiencies, to help focus on prevention. This tool is best used in a proactive manner, but may also be used in a reactive situation. For example, to identify incidents that have happened and go through and put mitigating actions in place. So where do risks come from? So they could come from any of these potential sources. So health, safety and environment, market pressures, public liability, customer requirements, competition. Some of the benefits of an Fmea: improves the quality, reliability and safety of products and processes in a very proactive manner. It helps to increase customer satisfaction by addressing failures that keep us from meeting critical customer requirements in processes or products. It reduces product development timing and cost. It documents and tracks actions taken to reduce risk and identifies potential process risks. For example, health, safety and the environment, rework or late deliveries. So when is an Fmea started? Early in the process improvement investigation, after a process map has been developed, when new systems, product and processes are being designed, when existing designs or processes are being changed, when carryover designs are used in new applications, or after system, product or process functions are defined but before specific hardware is selected or released to manufacturing in a manufacturing environment, and ideally. Also, when you're looking at safety concerns as well. So when would you update one? So always update them on a regular basis. Review completion of action items, recalculate the risk priority numbers, and develop actions and assign responsibilities to the new and highest ranking risk priority numbers. The Fmea is a living document. The team, you would need a team approach to this because not everyone would have all the knowledge required to complete all the phases of the Fmea. So involve as many people from the relevant processes and interfaces of those processes as you possibly can. The types of Fmea. So system Fmea, used to analyse systems and subsystems in the early concept and design stages. This focuses on potential failure modes associated with the functions of a system caused by the design. Process Fmea, used to analyse manufacturing and assembly processes or administrative processes, focused on process inputs. And design Fmea, used to analyse product designs before they are released to production. So the thought process that we go through: what is the input, what can go wrong, what's the effect of that, how bad would it be, what are the causes of it, how can this be found, how often does it happen, how well can we detect it, and what can we do about it. So definition of some of the terms: failure mode is the way in which a specific process input fails. If not detected and either corrected or removed, that will cause an effect to occur. The effect is that impact on the customer requirements. The cause could be a source of process variation that causes the failure mode to occur. Current controls are what we currently have in place to either prevent or detect this failure mode from happening. So there could be one effect from two separate failure modes, or two separate effects from one failure mode. Now, your risk priority number is one of the outputs from an Fmea. This is calculated based on the information that you provide regarding the potential failure modes, those effects, and the current ability of the process to detect the failures before they reach the customer. It's calculated as the product of three quantitative ratings, each one related to the effects, causes and controls. The risk priority numbers are then sorted and actions are recommended for the top issues. So your RPN would be the total of the severity multiplied by the occurrence multiplied by detection, all the scores from those. So here's a definition of some of the RPN terms. So the severity of the effect, that's between 1 and 10. Some of the criteria for how we rate those you will need to develop depending on the area that you're in, with 1 being not very severe at all and 10 being very severe or catastrophic in terms of the occurrence of that cause, 1 being not likely to occur at all and 10 being very likely or it occurs very often. And then your detection scores, 1 would be, rather than likely to detect, 1 would be we have an error proofing methodology in place, so the system will not allow us to proceed any further because it detects it and stops it. And 10 would be we do not detect it until the customer tells us we've done something wrong. But those scales should be developed by the team depending on the business or the operation that you're working in. So here's a small example of the Fmea model and just working through this from the detection being a level 1, so we prevent it from happening, to 4 to 7 to 10. I tend to use the 1, 4, 7, 10 scale when carrying out any Fmea. Otherwise you tend to get into discussions or arguments in terms of is it a 3 or a 4 or is it a 6 or a 7, and that doesn't matter too much. What you're more likely to focus on, or I would recommend focusing on, is it really severe, i.e. catastrophic? Is it quite severe? Is it not very severe? Or is it, well, actually it doesn't matter at all? So here's an example rating scale, but again, go away and develop your own rating scale. So dynamics of the risk priority number. Again, with the scores as they come in, if you use the 1, 4, 7, 10, I tend to look at scores of 112 and above as being quite high, because that would be, you've got a combination of 4s and 7s in there, not many 1s, so not many real low priority things, and they give you a pretty good indication. Rule of thumb, anything 112 or more deserves attention and deserves to be looked at. So general steps in the Fmea. First one, for each process input, list ways that it can vary or go wrong, so your failure modes. Identify the effects, list all the causes for each failure mode, list the current controls, get your severity, occurrence and detection rating scales defined, assign these to each cause, calculate the risk priority number for each potential failure mode, determine the recommended actions that are going to be carried out in order to bring that risk priority number down. Here's an example of the Fmea form, and here's one that's been completed, so you can see an example of this. Here's a process map that you would, maybe an example of a process map that you could use in forming your Fmea inputs in the initial stages. Here you've got the key outputs and the key inputs. You could also look at using a cause and effect matrix approach to Fmea. This would focus the team on the top priority items from that matrix to carry out your Fmea. For each input, brainstorm what can vary or go wrong. These will be your failure modes. Identify the effects for these, get the causes, list the current controls, assign the ratings, and then calculate your risk priority number. If you do this in Excel, you can get your risk priority number to auto-calculate once you fill in the severity, occurrence, and detection boxes. And if you use data validation fields on those, you can set them at 1, 4, 7, or 10. So sort the risk priority numbers by severity, by highest number, high to low, and then complete the recommended actions only for those top ones. They're the ones you're going to focus on. So anything below those will be your next tranche of improvement activities. Again, the Fmea is a living document. So we've recorded when the action was taken, the impact on the RPN. The team rated the severity, occurrence, and detection using the same scale developed previously. Notice this is a nice way to track past activities as well. So if you've carried out improvement activities, you can demonstrate how you've reduced the risk around certain processes using the risk priority numbers in here. So different approaches to Fmea. First approach, using cause and effect matrix focus. Second approach, your focused approach, where you literally go through and fill out that Fmea column step by step using your process map for your different process steps. The fourth approach, your super focused. Pareto, pick the top item, focus the Fmea process only on that defect or failure mode, and then really carry out a focused activity to kill that failure mode and really nail it. So again, when we're looking at this, Fmea is a really good tool to drive from your measure, through your analyze, through your improve and your control phases to really get that prioritized approach to improvements. So in summary, we've reviewed the importance of the Fmea, discussed the link of the Fmea to the process map and cause and effect matrix. We performed some exercises to complete an Fmea using the worksheet in the final Fmea form, which you'll find in the templates section. The Fmea has been added as a tool to utilise in the prioritisation of actions to go forward with on our search for understanding of our processes. So in summary, if you weren't already enrolled on this and watching this video as part of one of these courses, we have available yellow belt, green belt, black and master black belt certification courses, and we also offer consultancy and training services.